Alright, welcome back to my channel. My name is Grace. I am a full-time artist. I've already talked about the different ways I make money as a full-time artist in a different video, so I will link that. So today I'm just going to show you a sketchbook that I finished recently, a few months ago, and that I've just been procrastinating sharing because I haven't really felt like being in front of a camera, if that makes sense, you know. I'm going to put where I got the stickers from, if I got them from an artist. I also voted. Really cute stickers though. My Instagram handle is now Grace Sellers Art, just to throw that out there. I never finished, let's see, what was the last day that I did in this? Ooh, did I put a date? Okay, we're gonna say somewhere around November of 2020. And I started it in 2019, so I wasn't very consistent, as you can tell, since it took me over a year to fill this up. Sometimes I skip around in my sketchbooks. I feel like a lot of artists kind of naturally do that. We just like to skip around. And sometimes I just don't feel like sketchbooking. Sometimes I just want to complete pieces and spend like all my time on a piece. And like sketchbooking is minimal. I feel like sketchbooking is one for like planning a piece, and two, like getting ideas out or trying to get ideas started if you're having a hard time making things. So first page looks like it was watercolor and some colored pencil. Some of the stuff, like, you know, it's a sketchbook, so don't take it at its face value. It's just for fun. It's a sketchbook. Like, people aren't necessarily supposed to see this. I didn't like paint or draw this stuff knowing that I would be sharing it with the world. Though those cherries, they don't look that bad for watercolor. This is a Moleskine sketchbook, so it's not really made for watercolor. That's really... Some of the stuff's a little weird, but, you know. I feel like I was really inspired by Lee Ellickson during this phase. I love her still love her. She has a great YouTube channel. I am still a patron of hers. Some little puppos. We got some turtles, a seahorse. I'll talk about some of these pages if I find them interesting. Like this page, I love this spread. I feel like I've shared this on Instagram. So this was based off of a photo I took at Caribbean Beach at Disney. I used to work there a few years ago. And that's when I took the photo. This is of, I think we named this bird, one of my old coworkers named this bird Esquardo, I want to say. Such a pretty bird. And you can like see the pink backgrounds of the villages. I love this one. It's gouache. I want to create this bigger, but I feel like every time I do like a small piece and then I try and scale it up and make it bigger because I loved it so much, I just can't get that same like feeling. So, and then over here, this was right before I went to Yellowstone, off of some photos in a book I read about Yellowstone, like the book I used to travel throughout Yellowstone. If you ever go to any of the national parks in general, I highly suggest buying a book on that specific park with maps, because a lot of them, the signal is horrible. You're going to need a map, and the maps that they give you like for free at the different guide ranger stations and stuff, they're not that great. So definitely buy a book. It will save you. We used our book for everything for a map. Again, here's some more geysers and gouache. I was going through a gouache phase, which I haven't used gouache in a while. It's funny how you kind of go through like all these different phases, which is why I like seeing a sketchbook, because you can see like the different phases that I'm in. What is all this going on here? That's interesting. This was, I think I killed this type of plant already. That's, yeah, some more little like thumbnails of landscapes. I like doing a lot of thumbnails in my sketching as well. Some of it's not even sketching in here. Here's some more gouache. This fiddly fig I also killed. I'm not a plant killer. I do own a lot of houseplants, but when you own a lot of houseplants, that also means that you are going to eventually kill a good amount of houseplants, you know? Okay, so this was in Yellowstone. This was my plein air drawings. I love it. I love this one up here. It looks so... I just really appreciate that kind of stuff. I love seeing field sketches. Here's some more. Yeah, I love sketches like this. Like, you know, it's not super hard to do this, but I still love it. And then same, like, the bison are so hard to draw because obviously they're moving. So it's like you're just trying to do like really quick contour sketches of them before they move along. These were pretty good. I feel like I got pretty close to these guys. I literally said in this, I'm hungry, so my hand is shaking. Like, that's so funny. Why would I put that? Let's see, this was October 7th, 2019. So this must have been after my Yellowstone trip, this page. I think this was in Inktober, like the first day of an Inktober. I guess 2019 Inktober. Here it looks like, if I remember correctly, I was at the beach and I just drew like what was in front of me. You'll see I try to do a lot of that with my sketchbooking. I need to get back into that. And I also like to tape things in my sketchbook. Do it on a separate piece of paper, tape it later. These are kind of cute, like this one's cute. This one looks really bad. But these, like, I like how these look kind of more freehand. This looks like I tried to make it cleaner and it turned out worse. I remember this because it was after I went to, what spring was it? Rock Springs running, I think it's in Apopka, Florida. I love going to the springs. And we saw an otter in person, like it just swam right up to us and was like, hey, what's up? It's a really pretty spring. Definitely don't go on the weekend though. It's too crowded. But on the weekdays, perfect. And I just found a reference online and drew it. More bison. These are kind of cute. These look like Inktovers as well. Because I'm not really much of like an ink person unless it's for an Inktober. This is pretty. I wonder if no one ever bought this. I feel like I probably listed it. I don't know. It's pretty though. Dark mark. See, I think that's probably an Inktober too. It's really bad though. Gosh. And then this was a study of Charles Ritchie's House and Moon. Looks like I just did a watercolor really quick. This was an Epcot. See, I need to go back in and kind of fill in some of these pages, I feel like. This one on the left, like, I could put something so colorful and pretty there and make this look more interesting. But I believe this was in Epcot in France. I was just drawing. So you'll sometimes see in my sketchbooks that on, like, pages that I didn't like, I'll kind of add notes onto them. So for this... It looks like I did notes on like one of my paintings. I added like what colors I used. Yeah, and these look like two separate paintings. What colors I used, because believe it or not, like honestly, for the longest time I was like, I don't need to like take notes about that kind of stuff. Like I always use the same colors. No, you're gonna need to take notes on that, like on larger paintings that you do, because you'll go back a couple years later and you'll be like, I really like that color palette. How did I accomplish that? And then you have to start all over on figuring out what you did. Like just take the notes, save yourself the time of having to try and mix your colors and figure it out again. This is cute. I actually like this. It does also look Lee Ellickson inspired with like the little confetti kind of around the pages. Lee loves doing that kind of stuff. This is my dog Tony. I like to draw him a lot. See, this was February 6th, 2020, so we made it into 2020. This was before our panorama. If you know, you know. This was at the University of Central Florida campus. I just did a little drawing there. Same here. I like these. I like how colorful these were. Especially this one. I like that I chose colors that weren't necessarily what I was looking at. I just kind of chose colors that I felt. Same here. This was from UCF. And then this, I think I tried to copy a sketch that Lee Ellickson did. As you can see, like I said, I've always been I love her, you know. Some flowers. This is just like scrap. I'll just like throw in scrap stuff. This is from an artist and YouTuber named Schmood. I believe I bought stickers or something from him, and then he included this in. Yeah, it's like a thank you note. This, I literally stopped on the side of the road that there were horses by, and I tried to paint them. They're not the best paintings ever, but they're not horrible. You know, they are what they are. Yeah, I don't know when I painted this, but, you know. And more bad horses. They were really interested in me, though, when I was drawing and painting them. They definitely came right up to be a little nosy. This looks like a photo. I think I used a photo reference from Garden of the Gods. When I went there during my Yellowstone trip, I took a lot of photos, of course. I didn't paint there, though, in person. And then this is a little alocasia plant that I own that I haven't killed. Sometimes I'll use, like, old wax paper to paint on if I don't feel like using a regular palette. And then I'll just reuse it and tape on my sketchbook. Some apples. Like what I did here, I believe. A lot of this is just based on, like, my memory, because I don't always take a note on what I did or what the reference was. But this, I believe I just had an apple and I just turned it a bunch of different ways to do some little paintings. It's actually pretty cute. Little watermelons and snails. I feel like this might have been an Inktober that I like painted in later. I don't know, check out my Instagram. You might be able to answer those questions for me. I really like this one. I believe I posted it on Instagram. I just love the cat. I love the blues. The blues were really pretty. The cat's vibing for sure. Again, like, this is like a page where I had old paint on my palette that I didn't want to go to waste, but I was done painting for the day. So I just painted it in here, and then I have wax paper from it. And again, another note. So on an old azalea painting that I post on my Instagram, I used quinacridone magenta, cerulean blue, primary yellow, white, and phthalo green. So now if I ever want to copy that color palette again, which I really like that color palette, I will be able to because I took note. Because I do change, I always use primaries, but I do like change my primaries sometimes. Like sometimes I'll use a cadmium red, sometimes I'll use a magenta, quinacridone magenta, sometimes I'll use like ultramarine blue. I've been loving a lot. Like in this painting I used ultramarine blue, but then sometimes I'm feeling cerulean blue. So it really just depends on the subject, how much color I want to infuse, if I want it to be a little more realistic or if I want it to be a little bit more impressionistic. Again, trying to practice faces. You'll see that eventually I kind of try to practice that more because I'm just not, like, portraits aren't my strong suit, but I'm actually feeling way more confident about them than I did at this point in March of 2020. If you check out my Instagram, you can see my latest self-portrait, and it actually looks like me. It looks great. This was a study for a painting that I did that I still really like. I want to do prints of this, like, finished painting. I'm actually literally in the background. I've got it set up on the wall so I can get photos. It's really challenging to photograph. Again, another strawberry. If you can't tell, I like strawberries a lot. I love strawberries. I've got strawberry art all over the house. I sculpted this. When I post it online, I'm like, I just really talk shit about myself because I was like, I'm just gonna like share like the photo that I took of this online, and like it's fine, like no one's gonna like it. And I had like a few people when I initially posted it that were like, oh, I thought this was a real strawberry, because I like put in the description that it was made out of air dry clay. And they're like, oh, I thought this was a real strawberry. And I was like, dang, I did better than I thought I did. I feel like we don't give ourselves credit. This was like notes on a painting, and I have more notes on these 3 paintings right here. So I was trying to track how long it was taking it, so I would kind of just track each painting here. I also tracked what colors I was using so that I could replicate that again in the future. Little sketch. More sketches. I feel like these are older and I just threw these in. Like I found them, threw them in. See, here's more notes again, like on commissions that I did. Trivia, and then I just stuck something in over it. I taught this painting in a watercolor 101 class. It's actually really fun. It was for the national parks, so it was like a national park themed water class. I like the national parks a lot. Great Smoky Mountains right here. This is Dry Tortugas in Key West, Florida, I think. I haven't been there yet. I would really like to go, and I live in Florida, so maybe eventually. Little water, little snake plant that I still have alive. This is when I first got my business cards, I believe, since I taped one in. Again, this is more notes. I think this is notes on the business card, like what fonts I used, what Pantone color I was going for. And then here is a little, I think I taught this class in like a watercolor 101 class, so I took like the finished painting and put it in my sketchbook. Because the problem when you're like a beginner friendly like art educator is you have a bunch of these paintings that don't really reflect like your skills, so don't really post them or share them. You just use them for educational purposes, so then you don't really know what to do with them. Like I have a bunch of paintings that I've used to teach with, and I'm like, I don't really know what to do with this, so I just throw it in my sketchbook or I file it away to hopefully use as a lesson plan in the future. This was after my birthday. This was mid-panorama in October of 2020. So I just rented an Airbnb with my sister and one of her friends. And we played this little doodle game. And these were some of my favorite doodles from everyone. And then this was, I want to say this was Inktober, like day 1 as well. Why don't I have things? Okay, yeah, Inktober 2020 it says on there. Like, I know I usually add notes. So this was just, I literally sat in a lawn chair in front of my house and just painted my house. And yes, my house is like this weird, like brown color that basically is just like a pink. Like the previous owners were trying to go for brown, I could tell, and then they just chose like some weird pink. Again, this is what I was talking about with like I have paintings that I don't really share because I taught them for like a beginner friendly art class. So this was one of them. This is like a fall themed one that I did with Orange County Library System. Shout out to them. I love their library system. They're so cool. More gouache. I taught this to like a kid. Like a parent reached out to me and was like, hey, can you like Zoom us for her birthday? Because again, mid-Panduse, mid-panorama, you know, if you know, you know. They wanted to do a birthday party for their kid, but obviously no one's gathering. So they did like a little Zoom where I just taught them how to draw a guinea pig. I believe this is a guinea pig. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not an expert in that, but I just Googled images of guinea pigs since I don't own one, and came up with one, and they were really cute. They were super cute. Okay, I guess we have a blank page in here. I don't know how I missed this. That's funny. Probably just stuck together. Again, another cut out of this one right here. There's one half and the other half. Very pretty though. Sometimes I just throw stuff like this in it for the aesthetics of it. rubber plant gouache. This is a sticker a friend gave me. And then this, I did like a little TikTok thing where I was like drawing my followers. So I started with my friends because I was scared. So this is my twin sister. This is a acquaintance of mine. And she's also a really good artist as well. Check her out. Chismosa Princesa. I probably said that wrong. I'm sorry in advance. And this is another friend of mine. And then I did one follower that I don't know. Her name's Tina. I like this. This turned out good. And then here is a drawing of me. This one's not bad though. You can see like the eyes are a little misplaced. And then underneath it, it's really bad. That's why I taped this in. So bad. I want to show you a little sneak peek. But that's the point of sketchbooks, guys. We're supposed to make bad art in here so that we make good art outside of our sketchbook. Again, this is another class that I taught that was like Watercolor 101. And I just stuck it in there. And it looks like we're done. Is there anything fun in the pockets? No, nothing fun in the pockets. And then on the back, I just have a couple more stickers. So this was from the Strawberry Festival 2020. And then that's just like a random sticker. All right. So that was my sketchbook. Let me know if you guys want more videos like this. I have a couple more video plans, but if you have like a specific video request and anyone actually sees this, let me know. If you want to see me maybe do more time-lapse paintings, tutorials, I can do any of that. Just let me know what you guys are looking for. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a good time. I don't know what else to say. Okay, thanks. Bye.